Good morning, everybody, from the newly improved United People's TV terrace, football tower, whatever you want to call it, studios, stadium. What do you reckon? Been working hard this weekend, unlike Manchester United's defence, of course, or the midfield. But good morning. It's Monday. It's been a painful weekend for Manchester United. It's been a painful weekend for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it's been a painful weekend for all of us. But look at that, eh? For the first time on United People's TV, that's made an appearance up there. I got that 2 years ago, and he's never ever come out. But today you can see the 100,000 subscriber plaque. You've helped it make it 208,000 right now. But as you can see from the title down there, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what is next for him? As excited as I am to sort of show you the new studio that I've been working hard on, I come to you at a time where Manchester United, well, we're a shitstorm, aren't we? Let's be polite. Let's be polite. I did my match reaction. I also did a live video, which I don't normally do in the evening after the game. I gave you the opportunity. Plenty of you took that opportunity to come on screen with me, and we had a conversation about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, about his future, about everything we're seeing. And I shared a lot of your frustrations. Of course I did. I told you, and I know when, I don't know how to describe it. I know when to change my mind on Solskjaer. I won't let anybody else tell me when I'm supposed to change my mind. I've semi-changed my mind after that Leicester game. That was a real turning point for me. It felt different for me. It is different for me from now on. And what I'm going to do this morning, I'm going to run through a video from last night from Fabrizio Romano, speaking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future. What's next? An article this morning from David Ornstein from The Athletic, speaking about Marcus Rashford and his unhappy camp at Solskjaer's comments before the Leicester game. Going to be speaking about Ronaldo, and maybe, look, I'm not saying this is an excuse for Solskjaer whatsoever, but Ronaldo is a problem at Manchester United right now that we need to make sure we can resolve. Now, I don't mean the problem is he's a bad player, but we're not getting the most out of him, and the style is a bit different. But there's also an article from Laurie Whitwell from the Athletic. I tell you what, man, these are testing times for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that's just me being polite. They're testing times for Manchester United. So many people want us to come in now and just hit the button, sack Solskjaer, kick him out the club, and then what happens next? Mike Phelan comes in as interim manager. Michael Carrick comes in as interim manager. Kieran McKenna comes in as No one's got a plan. Nobody's got a plan at all. So don't try and come at me saying you've got a plan for what happens after Solskjaer, because the club definitely doesn't. Because all we've seen and all we've heard since that game at the weekend is that Manchester United are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What I would encourage you, as I always do every single morning, please fire in your comments, fire in your questions. It's going to be a busy as hell week. We've got Atalanta on Wednesday. My starting 11 for that game will be out tomorrow. Who will Solskjaer choose in every game from now on? Is the biggest game in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's career as Manchester United manager, arguably his career, because his career is on the line with every single game. So who is he going to start against Atalanta? And then who is he going to start against Liverpool on Sunday? And I said this before, actually. For me, I believe it was Liverpool when I lost it after Moyes. Liverpool at home, I think we played City and Liverpool in the same week. And remember when we played City, I don't know, this just sticks in my head. When we played City, we went 1-0 down, I think, within like 3 or 4 minutes. And we ended up with, I think, Fellaini and Cleverley as sort of like two attacking midfielders on. Like Moyes just threw his formation out the window straight away. And then after that, I believe that was when Suarez was still there. And then Liverpool came to Old Trafford and pumped us. And we lost to both our rivals in the space of a week. And at that point, I was like, game over. Game over. With Jose Mourinho, if I remember correctly as well, it was when we went and we lost at Anfield. And it was sort of just an acceptance that it was just game over at that point. This really felt like it was game over. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because of everything that's happened in Villa, Everton, Villarreal, West Ham, Young Boys, and the context of everything that happened going into that international break, and it festered. It festered for a couple of weeks, didn't it? And then we come back and that happens against Leicester. As I said, that game against Leicester was an opportunity for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the players to sort of bury the frustrations of that international break, bury the frustrations of the other game. But instead, we've doubled down on them. We've made them 10 times worse. Harry Maguire is now a scapegoat after what was an absolutely abysmal, horrendous performance from him against Leicester. But at the same time, he shouldn't have been put in because he wasn't 100% fit. Bad and bad. But let's talk about it. Hey, look, I'm going to head down to the comments. I'll see you all down here. I'll be honest, the comments are not going to be the comments are not going to be particularly encouraging place at the moment, are they? It's going to be quite toxic, toxic is the best way to describe it. I did a tweet last night, and I'm absolutely, before I head down to the comments and before I move on to anything, there is one thing I want to make absolutely abundantly clear about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I will be doing a video on this. Don't you worry about that. I will be doing a video on this, but this stands absolutely true for me anyway. You can disagree with it, but this stands completely true for me. I said this on Twitter last night, and quite a few people agreed. Not everyone agreed, of course, and that's the beauty of opinions. I said Solskjaer is on the top table as far as club legends go at United, and anybody saying otherwise didn't watch him enough. What he has done, what he is doing as manager doesn't change that. And if anything, he's cemented that status further with the rebuild work he's done in 2019 to 2021. I swear to God, man, people have got short-term memories, really short-term memories, to forget where we were a few years ago. And don't come at me saying, Sam, what are you talking about, man? We won the Europa League. We won the League Cup. Yeah. Just with a bunch of players who did not give a shit about playing for Manchester United. With a bunch of players I did not give a shit about. Our academy was in an absolute state. Our squad was full of mercenaries, overpaid, there for the cash, and the whole club structure from top to bottom was an absolute abomination. To where we are now, that's happened under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ollie's. That's happened under Ole. So for me, people trying to say that his legacy is getting ruined by what he's doing now, nah, man. And people are so, I'm not saying you, I'm not saying everyone in the comments here. I'm seeing so much of it on social media, man. People are so disrespectful towards Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a Manchester United player. So disrespectful. All he did was, score. He's made a whole career off one goal. First of all, that goal was so important. Fuck yeah. Well, no, you can't make a career out of one goal, but that was the most significant and important moment, arguably in the club's history. Not the most important moment, but one of the most glorious moments. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scored 91 Premier League goals for Manchester United over a 10-year period in which he had nearly 400 appearances and scored 126 career goals at our club. And you want to try and tell me that he's not... Mate, you did not watch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If you do not think that he is a club legend, fact of the matter is you did not watch United in the years that he was at our club, man. That guy bled for United. Didn't matter how many minutes he got. Didn't matter what he did. He gave everything. So, cool. If you want to say Solskjaer out, I can't argue against it now. All right. After what I've seen there against Leicester, I'm not going to argue against it. I'm not going to sit here and say, look, man, this is the reason that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should stay. Fact of the matter is, the club is backing that decision right now. And therefore, nothing really is going to change at the moment. Of course, it does change when performances change. And that's what I'm about to get onto next. There's a couple of super chats coming in, though, so I'm going to read your comments out before I move on. Andrew's saying, I know Ole is getting blamed a lot, but the other coaches must be blamed for the same too. Also, the players should take responsibility about every game. Of course, the players, they're certainly at fault. We're looking at that game against Leicester at the weekend. The midfield was just overran because there was no movement in midfield. The defence was overran because there was no organisation in defence. Of course, the players are responsible at the same time. But when you're looking at Mourinho getting sacked, nobody was sitting there shouting, Rui Fario, you're an absolute dickhead, were they? Rarely do assistant managers or coaches get the same sort of scorn as the manager who's sitting at the top of the tree. Ultimately, it falls at his feet. So I understand why it's not really going as public with those. But Nick, what are you saying here? I think Ole has lost the dressing room. The Pogba interview is a stab underwater to Ole, if you ask me. We don't know, but something has to change. Hey, Nick, look, man, I did my video on that Pogba interview at the weekend, and I'll be completely honest. I said it in the video. I said it almost felt like Pogba was saying something without saying what he wanted to say. But I think that's the sort of that's the sort of situation I suppose the players are in. We tried and we tried and we tried, and I said, for me, that was a big thing about Saturday against Leicester. I was calling for Matic and Pogba so much, calling for it. I was like, that's going to give us our sort of midfield stability. That's going to give us what we need. It's the balance we want. And then what happened? My God, it was one of the worst midfield performances we've actually seen this season. So you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be Fred and McTominay starting against Atalanta, and Solskjaer won't give a shit what anyone else thinks, that he's just doing that because he's trying to protect himself. Philippe saying, do you think the training staff needs changed? Manchester United just gave a new contract like 10 days ago to Mike Phelan. There's no way they're going to be getting rid of him. And what I want to do here quickly not before we move on, we are talking about it here. Fabrizio Romano, he did a video last night saying this is the situation on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what I wanted to do here is just let you know, well, I suppose give you like, this is what Fabrizio had to say anyway.
From what I'm told, the position of the club is still the same of 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. They are a Solskjaer, they are still backing the manager, and they want to protect him. So as of now, Manchester United are not talking to any other manager. They want to continue with Solskjaer to give him some time to improve on tactical side, on technical side for the team, because of course what's going on now is not a Manchester United level, but they want to continue with this manager. This is the message from Man United. This is why they extended this contract during the summer till 2024. And this,
mate, I'll tell you what, like regardless of Solskjaer's ability, Solskjaer's qualities as manager, that decision to give him a contract in the summer just didn't really make any sense. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would stay at United if he had 1 day left on his contract. Like his affinity, his loyalty, his love for Manchester United goes deeper than just a player playing for a club or a manager managing a club. We're like in the fabric of who he is. He wouldn't go and hop, skip and jump, even if he was elite, even if he was absolutely smashing it, becoming hot property and everybody wanted him. I still don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would just down tools at United and move on anywhere else. So I don't think we needed to give him that new contract. It's just, we've sort of shot ourselves in the foot there a little bit. And of course you could say, look, man, Sam, what are you talking about? Contracts don't mean anything in modern football. Mourinho got a contract. You saw what happened there. He got binned off. Yeah, and I think, again, that's fair enough. Contracts aren't everything in football. They just make it more expensive when shit hits the fan. And I would definitely say that is the case. Something I'm seeing in the comments a lot here, and I've got to say something on this. Again, I'm going to be doing a separate video on this. Seriously, people, stop mentioning Antonio Conte. Do you have short-term memory loss? Do you not remember where we were 3 years ago? Do you not remember how much you fucking hated it? Hated it under Jose Mourinho. And I say that word capital goddamn H. Stop it, people. This short-termism, like football fans, man, you need to understand history. Like, remember how crap it was 3 years ago. You want to go back to that? Nah, fuck no. Hell no, man. When we got in bed with Mourinho, we got in bed with the devil. Remember that only, what was it, 3-4 years earlier, when even the concept, remember, put yourself back in this situation, right? Manchester United, Ferguson has just retired. Mourinho is available. Do we want to get him? I'm talking like 99% of United fans. No, Mourinho, no. I don't know, you're not doing it in a London accent. No. Mourinho is not United way. He's not a United manager. We deserve better. We need better than that. None of you wanted Mourinho in at that point. What happened after Moyes? What happened after Van Gaal? Well, we screwed ourselves. We're like, sod it. Let's get in bed with Mourinho. And what happened? We won silverware. Woo, yeah. The League Cup, yeah. Europa League means fuck all. He put our club in a worse position by the time he left than when he arrived. And it was already in a bad position. Short-termism, people. Short-termism. You need to remember what has happened previously. And I understand. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you are not allowed to think Solskjaer should be relieved of his duties as Manchester United manager. Solskjaer out. I understand why a lot of you are past that point now. Fair enough. You're allowed that. But coming here and saying, Conte, you're mad. You're absolutely mad. I would say thank you, by the way, to all the comments about this. It took me a lot of time I took yesterday. We've got the plaque there. We've got, can't remember the name of the bobbles. I bought one of them ages ago. Newton Heath scarf, few United shirts. Oh, look, it's a picture of me with a red ball. Isn't that cute? I couldn't find anything else. So I put that in there. But in slightly more interesting or exciting news, let me see if I can get that. I should probably put the address. The PO box is open. So as you can see here, I've created space on here. Look, let's try and get some positivity here. As I said all along, I want to make this a proper community channel. Some channels try and say that they're interactive, but they're not. They're not at all. They're just all about one person. So I've got a pin board here. I'm going to have some shelf space up there. I have a little bit more space down there. Let me see if I can post the address here. I only got this yesterday. Where is it? There we go. That's it there. Right. I'll put this in the comments now. Not People's TV. PO box. Feels like a competition you're sending stuff in for. Me on C. SS1 9DA. Right. So you are the first people watching here. You are the first people to get the PO box address. Now, send in if you like to. I'm not saying that's what I want to do. I'm interested to see what people will send. I think it'll be fun. So the PO box address is there. I'll share it. I'm going to create some new on-screen stuff here. The floodgates are open, says T. The floodgates are indeed open, but I think it's going to be really fun and interactive. Unlike watching Manchester United right now. So I head back to the comments here. Honestly, keep letting me know what you think. What sort of videos would you like me to do this week? Right? Again, I'll encourage you to sort of send me your ideas, because for me, and we need to look at what's next for Solskjaer. As I said, that's why I've done this video here. And we can move on. We're going to be speaking about Rashford next. So apparently Rashford's upset at Solskjaer's comments. I'll let you have your say on that. Obviously, we've got Atalanta on Tuesday. But I don't really know where Solskjaer can turn from here, if I'm being completely honest. Because I don't know how change can happen internally anymore. I can't see it. John, what are you saying? I know this might be bordering on blasphemy, but if we do get a new manager, does that mean sacrificing the ethos of United in exchange for trophies? As I said, man, we got in bed with the devil when we went to Mourinho. We've already gone down that path. And this is what I mean about, I understand the frustrations with Ole, man, but do you not remember the U-turns that we've been doing as a club? It's why it was so difficult for Solskjaer to come in and do. And again, you're just undermining the job, the good job, the great job that Solskjaer has done, where Mourinho and Van Gaal failed. And you're talking, oh yeah, Mourinho won silverware, Van Gaal won the FA Cup. Cool. Is that important to you? Winning the FA Cup, League Cup, Europa League? No, it's not. But this year is different. This is why the pressures are different, and that's why, for me, that Leicester game is different. The sort of implosion that we saw against Leicester kind of showed me that things are now, they've dipped past a point where they went before. They really have. John saying Conte is not the one. Give me Sean Dyche over him. I'd rather attack a little wing backs and 3 at the back and not the way, mate. Hey, look, Conte won the Premier League with Chelsea doing that. Fair enough to him. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. He went and won Serie A with Inter as well. I just don't want him at Manchester United. No way, shape or form. No way, shape or form. And people here saying that Solskjaer wouldn't get a top job anywhere else. You're mad. You're absolutely mad. He would not struggle to get a job if he left Manchester United. That's my opinion anyway. Let's go over here. And as I said, there's plenty of articles on The Athletic coming out today, which I think are very interesting over the last couple of days. And this one's from Laurie Whitwell. And this is what I'm saying. This right there. This feels different. This does feel different because we have been here before, man. We've been here before when Solskjaer's been sort of on the verge of a crisis, I suppose is a fair way to describe it. And he survived. but I'm not sure how that happens this time. We go down to this point here. This is a really important point here. Despite the damage, this is what Manchester United are saying again. So we've had Fabrizio this month. We took a look at what Fabrizio had to say. This is what the club is saying according to The Athletic. Despite the damage, there is no hint that United's board are wavering in their support of the manager, who is nearly 3 years into the job and signed a new contract to 2024 in the summer. Solskjaer has credit in the bank from stabilising the club, increasing United's points total and position season on season, bringing through academy players, recruiting well, and restoring a progressive culture since taking over. I need to do a video, definitely need to do a video on what Solskjaer has done, right? What Solskjaer has done, because so many of you, not just you in the comments, so many United fans are forgetting about that now that the shit is hitting the fan. They can't see the wood from the trees. Jason here saying, Sam, how do you press when your striker doesn't press? I'll be speaking about Ronaldo next. Jason, I'm also going to do a separate video on that too. The decision ultimately rests with Joel Glazer, the most involved of the sibling owners, and there is no indication of an appetite to act. So, yeah, Solskjaer's going nowhere. It's what we've seen all across the weekend. All across the weekend, we've seen from The Athletic, we've seen from David Ornstein, we've seen from Laurie Whitwell, we've seen from Fabrizio Romano, we've seen from all the reliable top journalists that we respect and consider reliable, all saying the same thing. The Manchester United support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not changed. David Ornstein went as far as to say is he's got 100% support. No, he doesn't have 100% of my support anymore. He doesn't have 100% of your support anymore. I'll be very surprised if he has 100% of Manchester United support anymore. You can't have 100% support as Manchester United manager if you've won 2 out of the last 7 games, and both of those wins came with nearly 90-plus minute winners, right? What's this comment there from Really 89? Short-termism works if you have a club project. Sack managers if the team is underperforming, less than some of its parts. Appoint the right manager for immediate success. Look, my friend, if you want that, Chelsea Football Club is just down the road. Go and enjoy yourself. That's the model that they've built themselves on, and that's the model for success, which works for Chelsea. And it works very, very well. You want it? Go and enjoy it. Cicero, what are you saying? Pogba, Sam, I heard what Pogba said in the post-interview. What is your opinion regarding his comments? Cicero, in terms of that, I did a video on Pogba yesterday, and I felt like it was a very honest interview in one sense. Another sense, I thought, sort of throwing stones in glass houses. Pogba was crap against Leicester. Absolutely crap. If Pogba had played an absolute demon of a game, then you can come out and say that sort of things. But you've got to look at yourself as much as you're looking at Solskjaer there. Where is that down to the tactics? Is that down to the style? You can all argue that, of course. But that interview did not help Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in any way, shape, or form. And it now mounts pressure from a different direction, doesn't it? It now people are going to come and say that Solskjaer is losing the dressing room. I don't think that's happened. I don't actually think that will happen. I think Solskjaer commands more respect in that dressing room than Mourinho ever did. I think anyway. Commands respect is the wrong way to describe it, because Mourinho is one of the best managers of the modern era in terms of being a winner. But in terms of the relationship between the players and that manager, that's what I mean in terms of commands respect. And I don't know if Mourinho, because you know Mourinho, when it works, it works. Like Matic in there respected him more than anyone else. But there were so many players in that dressing room who just thought, you know what, you are an absolute dick. Nah. Simple as that. Let me go up here and let's move on to the next point. As was raised there by Jason, this is a problem for Manchester United. And Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, if you're looking at the list of signings that Manchester United have made, they've all been for a purpose. They've all been part of a plan, and we've got them in the order that we wanted to get them. Apart from Donny van der Beek, who I still maintain was not an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signing. Then you've got this. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo, and you've got a player who, if you're looking at the style, people can say, Sam, Man United weren't building a pressing style. Mate, we have Rashford, we had Greenwood, we have Bruno, who was definitely a presser, Cavani, who was the king of pressing. Our players were all building towards that system. You saw the energy, and that's why, like him or lump him, that's why Fred was always had a place in that midfield. But Cristiano Ronaldo, quite literally, is bottom of, I think there's only, well, he's either bottom or near bottom of the list in terms of pressing attackers in the Premier League. Cristiano Ronaldo has built a career not on running around in space like a dog. It's not what he does. Cristiano Ronaldo has built a career on being at the right place at the right time. And he's played for clubs that have dominated the ball, dominated possession, which therefore means that when Ronaldo is in the right place at the right time, he's getting opportunities because the team has possession more often than not. At Manchester United, that simply is not happening. Ronaldo isn't pressing. And when one player doesn't press, the press breaks, the press fails. And Manchester United now have got a set of players who want to press under a manager who probably wants them to press, with a person at the top who doesn't want to press. And you just got juxtapositions everywhere. You've got things that are like two rams clashing heads. And what's the solution there? Cavani, I still stand by the fact that Cavani would probably make Manchester United a better overall team. Ronaldo would make it better as an individual, but as a team collective unit, you could argue that Ronaldo is hurting Manchester United. Don't buy Ronaldo and tell him to press, says Orr. He doesn't. You buy the best forward in the game and adapt to his game. Him at City would have had 15 goals right now. Mate, I tell you what, him at City, he just all he'd have to do is goal hang. You've got De Bruyne there. You've got Bernardo Silva. You've got Riyad Mahrez. You've got Sterling, who hardly plays. But he wouldn't have to move from the 6-yard box because he would just constantly getting service. Man United with Ronaldo in, I mean, it's Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo, right? But at the same time, it's by signing, it's almost like signing Ronaldo made the necessity for short-term success even more so at Manchester United. So the pressures, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was under pressure before United this season signed Ronaldo, when we signed Ronaldo, everyone immediately said, well, we're fucking winning the league now. Look at that team. Look at that team. You're telling me that team? Nah, we're winning the league. We are capable of winning the league. Anything else is not good enough. Therefore, the pressures went up. But Manchester United's style of play that had been, look, you can argue that United didn't have a style, but I would argue United did have a style on the Solskjaer, and it might not be one that you liked, but we sat there, we sat in shape, we stayed strong, we stayed disciplined, we pressed high as well. Not all the time, but we did press high. It's now out the window. We don't really know what to do now that we've got Cristiano Ronaldo in the team. Rolem saying, I swear none of our players can cross a ball. Oh, man. So kind of, I suppose, the least of our problems right now. None of our players seem to be able to play football. Manoy, I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? You should join as a member. You're basically a member without being a member. One of the OGs. Whose fault is it that we cannot arrange our players for set pieces 3 years in a row? Ole is outcoached, and the reason he stays is his legend status. Now, the reason he's staying, as I've said, Manuel, is the good work that he has done since he came to Manchester United. People. Remember it. Remember where we were 3 years ago. And the fallout to Mourinho was spectacularly bad. Spectacularly bad. And Manchester United at that point, as a football club, we had fucked up so many decisions with Moyes, to Van Gaal, to Mourinho, to all the players. So about 80% of the signings that we made at that time as well, we screwed them up so badly. We were like, oh, shit, what do we do now? Let's go and get a Solskjaer. Let's go and get Ole in. It was a desperate attempt by Woodward, by the club, by the board to say, you know what? I mean, it's not worked with Fergie, who recommended Moyes. It hasn't worked with an astute, experienced manager with a proper style in Van Gaal. It hasn't worked with the manager who was the scorn of United. Mourinho is one of the only managers to ever really properly got the better of Fergie. And we brought him in, and it hadn't worked with all of them. So we went to Ole. And then because it was Ole from Mourinho, there was just a boost. Like double dropping pills. Everyone was just happy. It was just everyone's having a great time of their life. Those 3 months after Mourinho's gone, is like having a shit in the morning. The perfect release. And then he got the contract off the back of that. And since then, Solskjaer, you might say, he's spoken in a lot of cliches. He's spoken in a lot of DNA. But I'll tell you what, United needed that because we forgot it. We lost that. At that time, it was needed. Now what is needed is not what was needed then. That's when, look, my very, very, very first opinion on Solskjaer, I can go back and pull that out. I remember saying it. I'll pull the video out. I can react to myself if I want to. I don't really want to. It's a bit weird. Maybe I will. I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer strikes me as the manager to come in and rebuild the foundations, to go in there, to dig out all the shit that's been left there by all the other managers. Dig it all out, flush it all out, clean it all, and then build the foundations. But he's not going to be the manager to then take us back to the top to build the house itself. And from what I'm seeing now, I'm seeing proof of that. That my original opinion about Solskjaer, and I wanted to be proven wrong, man. I wanted to be completely wrong. Comment here, it's hilarious. Darren Lola saying, Sam, let's rename this channel to Ole Supporters People's Person. You're mad. You're mad. You're mad. You're mad. I completely understand so many of you saying Ole out. And I think the way we're going, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked as Manchester United manager. I personally, I can't see how this situation changes now with Ole in as manager. I can't see how all of a sudden things are just, I can't see where the switch is going to be flicked. Because if the switch was going to be flicked in defense, it would have happened when Rafael Varane came in. If the switch was going to happen in midfield, it might have happened when Matic and Pogba came in, which I thought was the best team. Didn't happen. If the switch is going to happen when Rashford comes back, it did. He came off the bench and equalised. What happens? We concede 40 seconds later. For me now, I can't really particularly see where this change happens internally, which has to happen. The change has to happen. And I'm confused as to where that comes from now. What I'm going to do now, which should be a really fun thing to do, I don't know why I'm going to do this, I'm going to head down to the comments. So please, if you would, fire in your comments, fire in your super chats if you want to support the channel. As I said, look, all the money that you've put in for memberships, it's all been spent on that. Trying to make it bigger, better, more of a, as I said, a proper community where you can help take the channel forward. Can't blame Maguire for the goal. Blame the decision-making of Ole. Victorim, you're absolutely mental if you're not going to partly blame Maguire, who was arguably responsible, at least in part, for all 4 fucking goals. Was it Solskjaer that didn't run towards the ball? Come on, people. Don't have agendas like that. Don't have agendas like that. Eman, you're saying, for me, Ronaldo's having a negative effect on the squad. I don't think he's having a negative effect on the squad at all. I think he's having a negative effect on the concept that we're now jarring in, not that we had a massive style before, but there's different people doing different things now at Manchester United. Some are pressing, some aren't pressing. And when it comes to a press, either all of you press or none of you press. Now, something else I want to quickly talk about here. As I said, keep firing in your comments. Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford was back. And Solskjaer's comments about Rashford before the game sort of kind of raised eyebrows. It was like, Solskjaer, what are you doing? Why are you questioning Rashford's commitment to Manchester United? Bit weird, right? Let's go down here. I personally thought it was probably his comments being taken out of context, and I still kind of stand by that. But I understand why Marcus Rashford might be slightly frustrated, because we know what happens in the press. The press twists things. So I would say Solskjaer, while there was definitely no malice in what he was saying about Rashford needing to focus on his football, he was very naive. Very, very naive from Ole to not understand that those comments would be taken out of context. So he should never... Ole loaded the gun there, and he didn't really need to. Did not really need to. And this is what David Ornstein's saying this morning. United argued that Solskjaer's words were misinterpreted, and it is clear he was praising his player. Absolutely. But what the Norwegians said became headline news, and The Athletic has learned that it went down badly with those who believe Rashford could hardly put a greater emphasis on his sporting career. In September, Rashford railed against suggestions he should stick to football, and his camp are understood to be upset that Solskjaer has conveyed a similar notion, even if no harm was meant. And I don't think you can argue with that at all. as I said, for me, it was particularly naive of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to do that. It was clearly going to be a loaded question. It was something that a journalist asked him about, I don't know, his opinion on Marcus Rashford and everything that he's doing. Or sorry, Dr. Marcus Rashford. But Solskjaer, man, you fell into the trap there. You fell into the trap of the media. You need to control the media better than that. Or you're saying before the international break, I had high hopes that Ole and his coaches would change and come up with a plan. First game back, it's the same shit, different game. I wouldn't say it's the same shit. I would say it was worse. It's exactly that. Or I because of what happened in that international break, it was 2 weeks for Solskjaer, for Phelan, for Carrick and McKenna to all sit down around the table and go, you know what, lads? We've just had young boys, West Ham in the League Cup. We've had Villarreal, Everton. You know, it's not good enough, right? It's not good enough for Manchester United. We need to change things. What are we doing? What are we going to do? Right, okay. We're going to do this against Leicester. This is how we're going to turn things around. And instead of seeing anything different, we saw a worse version of what we saw against Villa, a worse version of what we saw in the second half against Everton. Nothing had changed. Nothing had changed. And that's what I'm saying. This is where I fail to see where this change is coming from. Manchester United against Leicester, we didn't change a bean. In fact, we got worse. So if we're not going to change anything in that 2-week period, of course, a lot of you are going to argue, Sam, all those players were out on international break. They didn't really train with the squad. How can you change anything? Sure, there's not too much you can, but you can change certain things for sure. For sure you can. And instead of that, they just got worse. They just got worse. So if nothing's going to change in that 2-week period, then how am I going to expect anything to change between Leicester on Saturday and Atalanta on Wednesday? How am I going to expect anything to change from Atalanta on Wednesday to Liverpool on Sunday? I don't think I don't know. I don't really think now, and it's not just the case of Solskjaer needs time, but there's not enough time now to make these changes, because you don't make these sorts of bigger changes in these points of the season. What you do is you use that preseason and you drill it into the players. You get everyone playing and singing from the same hymn sheet, and then during the season you tweak. You do little tweaks here and there. United don't just need a tweak now. We need to rip the script up and start again. But we can't do that mid-season. And it's very difficult to do that under the same manager as well. Let me go down to the comments here and say that, Ash, you are saying, I'm not looking forward to playing Liverpool on Sunday. We will get hammered if we played against Leicester. If we played against Leicester tactically, I think Ole is out of ideas now. He's had his time. He's brought good players in, but honestly, I can't see him taking us forward anymore. His flame has officially burnt out. And Ash, I tell you what, I'm more than halfway. I'm thinking that exact same thing. That's why that Leicester game was different for me. That's why I did the videos that I did after the Leicester game. And I did my video yesterday on Paul Pogba. I saw a different... There's always moments, right? There's always moments. And that's why I don't care what people try and shout at me, Ole out. I'm gonna gauge my opinion, just like you gauge yours, how you want to. And I sit there and I wait. And for me, that game against Leicester and the fallout from it is a point where I've started to turn. My directions changed. I did a video a couple of weeks ago saying, I did a message to people shouting Ole out, and I explained in real detail why I'm supporting my manager, and that still stands by it. But with two wins in 7, and just that, the manner of the continuation of the downfall against Leicester, that's what did it for me. That's what kind of showed me that, oh, there really is no point. This really might be the point of no return. Simply because it just got worse against Leicester. It just got worse. Oh, you're saying 2 goals, one long ball brilliance, struggling to keep hold of the ball, no positioning, players have no clue, no clear instructions. Ronaldo isolated. Well, Ronaldo's been isolated for a long time, really. You know, cracking against Newcastle, scored a cracker against West Ham, scored against Young Boys as well. Ronaldo is working with very limited chances, I would say, at Manchester United. Very limited chances. But he's so good that he's taking a lot of them. And whoever said that in the comments earlier, you're spot on. If Ronaldo was at City, he'd probably have about 15 goals already this season. That I would completely agree with, because City are a team that dominates the possession of the ball. And they are the teams that Ronaldo, United back in the day, Real Madrid for 10 years, and Juventus. those three teams all dominate possession, all dominate the ball, so that Ronaldo doesn't need to do anything else apart from goal hang. Ronaldo's not used to playing in a team that has to chase the ball around so often, that has to just go back and go, oh, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Let's run and get it. He's like, no, my team's good enough that I'm just going to stay up front. All you've got to do, give me the ball and we'll score a goal. Technically, that's the hardest thing in football, right? It's the hardest thing in football. Ronaldo's a genius at it, but he plays in teams that dominate possession, which Manchester United still do not do. Let me go. Let me go and ask a question here, right? I think with Atalanta, I don't know what to expect with Atalanta, right? But I'm ignoring that game. As important as it is, I think if we lost that game, would anything really still change? No, I don't think it would. Liverpool is something where I feel... I want you to let me know in the comments now, what happens? What do you genuinely... Not what you want to happen. What do you think will happen if Manchester United lose badly to Liverpool on Sunday? And I'll read a few of your comments out there. But I fear for Ole. I fear for the... I'll tell you what, we're just lucky it's not Anfield. We're genuinely lucky. Well, Ole is. We're lucky it's not Anfield, because the way that Salah is playing at the moment, one of the world's best, nobody can argue about it. As much as we hate to see it, you've got to appreciate quality when it is there. And Mo Salah right now is an absolute stunning footballer. And Liverpool are looking strong. 5-0 against Watford. They're coming back with a vengeance. But what will happen with Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if he doesn't? It's not that if he just doesn't beat Liverpool. It's like, what happens if we get mauled? Let me go down here and let's fire in the comments. We will lose to Atalanta and then beat Liverpool, says Josh. Imagine that. Lose the Liverpool game, he's gone, says Jason. Let's have a look. They're shit, not the team they were last season. Not worried about that game, but it's all about the Liverpool game. I see you're saying about Atalanta not getting... I mean, I think they won 4-1 at the weekend. Not sure. Let's have a look here. I think the players, says Propagiza, I think the players will be up for Liverpool. And we'd be very lucky to get away with a draw, but I hope we can nick a win. What about there? I believe if we do lose badly, says Ash, he will be gone, or the board will at least warn him and see what happens the following Saturday against Spurs. They sat Mourinho after losing badly, so I think it will be a repeat of if that happens. I mean, it will be a massive shift. A massive shift if we've got the story coming out that Manchester United are 100% supporting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here today. That's what they've been saying all weekend long. To then, if we say lose to Atalanta and lose to Liverpool, for it to all of a sudden turn into he's gone less than a week or two later. But things can change quickly and will change quickly in football, and they will change quickly with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So even if I'm hearing that he's got 100% support by the club, that will massively change only in the context of a few more results. That's the fence right now. Oh, that's where Solskjaer is. Or you're saying more chance of us losing to Atalanta than Liverpool. I know it's a big call. We always find that extra gear when we play the Scousers. Yeah, we do, but then at the same time as that, and that's why I'm saying it's different. I said we always find that extra gear when Solskjaer is under pressure. Or previously, this has happened like 3 times, and we've responded and turned up, but we didn't, and we haven't. And now, that's why this is different. That's massively why it's different. Nick, you're saying people praise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's man management, but I disagree. Donny, Jesse, and Eric, and Ahmad and Juan can't get a chance, even if the stand-ins play horrible, no faith. I mean, when it comes to man management, it's extremely hard to keep a squad of United size happy. I would say with Donny van der Beek, I agree. He's completely mismanaged that. With Jesse Lingard, I'm not going to argue he's mismanaged him at all. He's been an excellent substitute for Manchester United. I think he's done a very good job, and I think he's managed him okay. Eric Bailly, I'd be thinking, what am I doing here? Playing Maguire there against Leicester was the biggest punch in the face that Eric Bailly could have asked for. Absolutely. Completely. I agree with that one. And Juan, I don't think I argued he should have left in the summer, so I'm not going to have any sympathy for that. He's fine. He's just here for another year before he basically becomes an ambassador at Manchester United. And Ahmad, he's been injured all year. So that's a bit of if you want to try and slam Solskjaer for certain things, I understand it, but don't try and drag him and say he's got nothing to his game, because I think as a man manager, There are so many players at Manchester United who have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and because of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Salish, what are you saying here? Losing to Liverpool will set a tone that United won't be winning anything under Solskjaer. I mean, I would slightly disagree with that because I think if we win, I don't think that sets a tone that Manchester United can win anything under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I just think it's just such a significant game. Old Trafford will be fully behind Solskjaer. Everybody will sing his name. The crowd will give United a bit of a boost in that game. But it's not going to be a 12th man will not take United to beat Liverpool because out of possession, I'm not sure, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure there's actually a worse team in the Premier League than Manchester United. I question it. Out of possession was so easy to play against. There's no press from anybody. There's no press and there's no high press because Ronaldo's in the team. So because Ronaldo's in the team, that high press simply cannot exist. It cannot exist. Every defense they know coming up against Manchester United, even if you've got Bruno pressing, even if you've got Rashford pressing, even if you've got Greenwood pressing, there's always going to be a space in the middle. When the press is broken by one individual, there will always be a space to back out of the press. And that's why teams can now, at this point, defend quite easily against United, come out from the back quite easily against United. Tielemans and Sumari, their midfield walk through Manchester United. That's because our press doesn't only happen in our attack. Pogba and Matic didn't press. And that's why Fred and McTominay, let's be honest, they're starting against Atalanta and they're starting against Liverpool. And it's not going to be anything different. Fans walked out against Leicester early. Fans walk out against every... if you go to United away games, the football itself is rarely the most important part of the day. Jeez. It just is what it is. It's a very, very different experience going as an away fan to a football game. If you're going with the right set of lads anyway. It's just a big piss up. It really is. Sorry. The high press isn't necessary, says Annie Miletu. I mean, I would completely disagree. The high press is absolutely essential to winning the ball up and breaking the play up and moving towards an opposition defense when they haven't had time to set into their shape. That's one of United's biggest weaknesses, always has been for the last few years. Low blocks. The high press defeats that low block because if you win it early, that low block can't exist. And therefore, your players like Ronaldo, Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, Bruno, they can break in behind. Rego, you're saying till Ole changes his style of playing and tactics, most of the fans will not trust that he can take us back to our glory. I don't know what the as I said, I don't know what the next turn is. I can't tell you what that next turn is. I can't tell you where this change is going to come from internally. Is it going to come from a rally from the players? Yeah, of course it could. We could see an absolute performance against Atalanta, one that blows us all away, one that's sort of like, wow, okay, right, there's still some fight here. But what will that do? Because for Solskjaer to turn this round now, the results he's going to have to get in these next 6-7 games are absolutely insane. If we run through this again, I mean, I already did a video on it. I did my predictions, and my predictions, let's be honest, were spectacularly wrong because I said the Man United would beat Leicester, and we didn't beat Leicester. So, well, I was wrong. We're looking at Manchester United's next games. The games we've got and the results that we need to turn this around is, I mean, fuck me. It couldn't be any harder. I mean, I suppose it could be slightly harder, but not really. Manchester United there, starting with Atalanta on Wednesday. Gary saying marching powder. No idea what that is, mate. What is marching powder? Is that like what troops have before they go for a quick march? Manchester United playing Atalanta on Wednesday. Then we play Liverpool on Sunday. A week later, we play Spurs away. Then we play Atalanta away 3 days later. And 4 days after that, Manchester United are at home against Man City. So for Man United to turn this, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to turn this on its head, to turn this negativity, which is almost becoming all-encompassing now. It's going to start drowning Manchester United. It's going to start drowning Solskjaer. For him to swim here, we need to just, you have to beat Atalanta for the impact it would have. You have to beat Liverpool, and you've got to follow that up by beating Spurs. Depending on what happens in the first Atalanta game, what happens between Villarreal and Young Boys, maybe you can be afforded a draw against Atalanta away. And then you're facing City at home. My God. My God, you're looking there that United have to get four. I would argue United and Solskjaer need 4 wins out of 5 there to really start putting this fire out, because that fire's taking over. As I said, it's starting to become all-encompassing. It's starting to really get to the point where it's getting a bit out of control, like a wildfire in California. Ah, dearie, dearie, dear. Or you're saying, I'm genuinely scared to play Atalanta. They play attacking football and score goals for fun. With our defence at the moment, it will be a long day, 3-5-2 with an overload in the middle. I mean, it's, oh, Jesus Christ. It's, you don't need to overload the middle to overload Manchester United in the middle, let alone if you actually do overload the middle. We're very easy to play against in the middle of the game, in the middle of the park, sorry. Sean Wright saying, Sam, how can you defend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I'm not here defending Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Has anybody heard me defending him? I'm defending his I'm defending the respect he deserves. I'm defending the treatment he's getting. I'm defending the overall audacity, I would say, of some United fans to just fucking ignore everything previously, ignore the history of what's happened recently, and just say, sack him, get rid of him. He's an idiot. He's ruining our club. Mate, he's rebuilt. The only reason that you genuinely think that Manchester United can compete for the Premier League title is because of the work Solskjaer has done. No one genuinely thought we could compete under Mourinho. We finished, what, like 15 points maybe behind? Even though we finished second? Nobody had a real affection to the club at that time. Ibrahimovic was great. Pogba was great. But we looked at it. We were like, is that really a collective team? No, it wasn't. And just don't remember this is... Just don't forget this. This is going to really start to become a really exhausting conversation. And I'm only at the start of it yet. I mean, this is going to go on for a while. I don't really see how Manchester United all of a sudden change their stance after Atalanta or Liverpool. I think we're looking here. I don't think there'll be. I think you're looking at 6th of November. If anything's going to happen with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think it's going to happen around that time after the City game. That's what it strikes me as. Maybe if we lose to Atalanta, we lose to Liverpool, and we lose to Jesus Christ. Maybe that's going to change things. But I'm looking at that international break, that next international break, as a time when things can, I don't know, maybe things can change. Sean, you're saying, Sam, yes, he put the club back on an even keel, but gone as far as he can go to start. And yeah, mate, Sean, you're absolutely spot on. He's completely and utterly, he's done that. But you've just put it there. He's put Manchester United back on an even keel, people. Right? That's exactly what he's done. The only reason you're feeling so self-entitled and angry at the fact that we're failing this season is because you think we should be succeeding. We haven't had that feeling in like 7 years? 6, 7 years? So don't try and beat Solskjaer with the stick that he's given you. That's what I mean. It's the deepest level of irony. You're making yourself sound stupid. You're making yourself sound like a spoiled kid at Christmas who gets a PS5 from his parents, throws it back in their face because he wants an Xbox. That's what it feels like to me. That's I don't know. That's it's just I get angry about it. I get angry about it, and I'm not here to support Solskjaer, man. The guy's getting fucking horribly exposed. It's clear he's got huge tactical weaknesses. He keeps repeating mistakes. The coaching staff is not good enough. Man United's defense is abysmal. Man United's midfield is non-existent. Ronaldo's isolated. We need better tactics. You want me to continue? Am I supporting Solskjaer? Hell no. I'm not supporting Solskjaer. And there's someone there's Sam, he's rebuilt. So what? Oh man. Honestly, some of you don't deserve football. Some of you do not deserve football. I'm not here just saying, oh, let's be patient with Solskjaer. I'm sure it'll work out. I'm not that fucking foolish. I can clearly see that right now, in this particular moment in time, Solskjaer is far closer to the sack than he is to that trophy. I would say that seesaw's been going all season long, but bear in mind that before the Leicester game, was it Leicester? 2 points off top. And if that's why that game was so significant, so significant, because it was at the start of a 10-game period where if the momentum shifted, we could have really steered this season somewhere else. The way it's going right now, we're heading into game with real fear. And trust me, the players will have that fear. The players in Manchester United's dressing room will be feeling how we're feeling. Like, what's next? What can change? It's down to the coaches to inspire that change, but are we really going to see it? Nick, you're saying, sorry, Victor, your comments popped up there. Nick, you're saying Ole did very well up to that point. I sincerely thank him, but I honestly feel this is his ceiling. No shame in that. It's a difficult job. Gary, you're asking there, should we have brought in Neves or Rice? Well, we all know the answer to that. I mean, there is no shame. And that's what people are trying to shame Solskjaer right now when there is no goddamn shame. He's just a man who has, in my opinion, brilliantly helped steer the rebuild of our club that was required because we were in the goddamn mud until Solskjaer came in. We had lost every emblem of our essence, every figment of what made United to a lot of us fans. We disappeared. We put that into the shredder between 2014 and 2019. And now you want me to forget that because we just got beaten by Leicester at home, because we got beaten by Villa at home because we drew 1-1 against Everton. No, you can get fucked. I'm not forgetting that. I don't exist in a 2-3 week game period as a Manchester United fan. I exist in the context of everything that's happened to my club. Right now, what I'm seeing happen to my club is I see a manager who's way out of his depth. I see a manager who is failing. I see a manager who I can't personally now see how he turns this around. So yeah, I'm seriously concerned about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't know what's next though. I really don't know what's next. The U-turns that we've had under Moyes to Van Gaal, and then Van Gaal to Mourinho, and then Mourinho to Solskjaer. I like the path that the club as a whole has been going on for the last 3 years. But if we sack Solskjaer, who comes in to continue? Because we need to continue that path. We're on the right path. Things have to stay, and I suppose that's where we're really going to see whether John Murtough is doing his job properly, because that would be, I would say, is a key difference of what we've got now that we didn't have before. When we moved between managers from Fergie to Moyes, from Moyes to Van Gaal to Mourinho, and Mourinho to Solskjaer, the change was pretty whole. Moyes came in, got rid of every single member of the coaching staff. Brand new club, basically, internally. We all saw what happened there. We switched to Van Gaal. He brought all of his staff in, and we saw what happened there. And the same thing goes for Mourinho, and the same thing went for Solskjaer, apart from the fact that he kept Carrick and McKenna. The difference that we've got now is that whoever, and this should serve Manchester United well, okay? As a football club, and again, this has happened under Solskjaer's watch. Funnily enough, Manchester United have modernised as a club. We've got John Murtough in as an actual director of football. So the concept here is that whoever comes in next for Manchester United following Solskjaer, whether that's in 2 weeks, whether that's in 2 months, whenever that is, it will happen at some point, okay? Whoever comes in next will come into a club that still has John Murtough in. John Murtough that was working under the previous manager. John Murtough that was working with the previous manager on a specific plan with a direction that the club was heading towards. So that whoever comes in next should still be walking that same path, because John Murtough will be leading and directing it. That's what his job is as director of football. It's to make sure that the transition between the managers now means United head down the same path. And that's my biggest fear. My biggest fear post Solskjaer is that Manchester United, we'd take a fucking huge U-turn again. We put the handbrake on, we switch it, and we go out and we just go down a completely different path. And we go down a path like Conte. That would be a magnificent failure for Manchester United. Magnificent failure. And Rory, you're saying that you think he's anything more than a figurehead. Rory, I can't be bothered to do a video on it yet because there's bigger talking points. But clearly what we've seen in the transfer market, what we've seen behind the scenes, what we've seen from everything really, is that John Murtough is doing a good job in that role, and that he does have a bit of power, and that, yeah, he seems to be doing a good job. So that fills me with a little bit of confidence, I suppose, that maybe what comes next after Solskjaer will be a bit of a different trajectory than any other manager who's came in. Because when Moyes came in, that was the only time we was like, you know what, we can still go there. But when Van Gaal came in, we were like, what's going on here? The excitement of a new manager, as soon as that settled in, it was like, Mourinho came in. We know what happened with Mourinho. Solskjaer, we've had some ups and we've had plenty of downs under Solskjaer. Oh, man. This is going to be an exhausting week, isn't it? An exhausting week. It's only Monday. It's only 10:30 in the morning. And already I'm bored. Not I'm bored of talking about Solskjaer, but I'm bored of having to defend Solskjaer to people. And I'm not talking about defending him as a manager. Slate him as a manager all you want, but just don't be a dick. Why have you got to be a dick? And forget about everything that he's done in these last 3 years with the rebuild and everything he did for Manchester United as a player. I swear to God, so many of you must not have watched Solskjaer as a Manchester United player. Seriously. And I don't mean this just because he's our manager. He's my favourite Man United player, up there with Ryan Giggs. When I was a kid, when I was playing football, I was a sub. There was nobody better to look at as a Manchester United fan to say, like, look, if he can do it, I can do it. I mean, I didn't. I was shit. That's why I was a sub. But the point still stands. I loved watching Solskjaer as a kid. He was such a role model for me. And I'll always remember, obviously, I was a young kid at that point. I always remember the tackle against Rob Lee when he got the red card. He went off to a little quiet round of applause from Manchester United's players. Solskjaer's a G, man. And nothing here he's doing in these last 3 years is changing that for me. Or you're saying identify the direction of the club in terms of playing style, whatever that may be, and get a replacement who will utilize the players we have. No more cultural restart where it will take another 3 years. And this is exactly the fear that I have, or the fear that Manchester United have taught me to have over the last few years. And I hope that fear is now changed and now different because of, as I said, because of this director of football that we've got in the club, because of the direction that Manchester United have been going towards. I hope it is different. I really hope it is different. I can't say it's going to be different. I really, really can't say that. But whoever comes in, we have to make sure that manager comes in for that squad of players, to manage that squad of players. And that rarely happens in football. It never happens. In fact, it never happens. Any new manager that comes in will get rid of certain players in that squad and he will bring in players that he wants. Rarely will you get a situation, as I said, tell me an example of that. I don't really think it exists, of a manager coming in and just being happy with the squad he's got and then just carrying on. Don't think it happens. So whoever comes in next is gonna take the squad apart. There's going to be players that are getting sold, players coming in, and that starts a new cycle. I'm going to head down to the comments here and see what you're saying. As I said, keep firing your comments. Or thank you very much for super chat today, buddy. I know emotional is the wrong word. But nah, fuck it. It is emotional. Everybody's emotions right now are on red alert. Red alert with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with everything that's going on, everything that went on at the weekend. I'll do another video today. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to do a video. I'll get it out probably about 2 o'clock. We'll aim for 2 o'clock. Let's go down here. Johnny Evans, you're saying, agree with all the points you've made. If Ole leaves, who would you say is the man that should take the job? I'm not going to say that at all yet. I'm going to be doing my research before I come anywhere near anything like that. So I appreciate the question there, but that's a question right now I'm not going to be answering. Ole would be better in the club in a different role, says Jason. Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people have always argued, that he would be a better technical director, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has an ego. There's no way he's going to accept an emotion, in my opinion. Maybe he loves the club more than I think he does, and maybe he would accept that demotion. But that'll be a right punch in the face for him, really. And it strikes me as his ego is bigger than that. Might be wrong. Let's go down here. Ten Hag, we can see his name's being banded around. Obviously, he's done a fantastic job at Ajax for a long time. This season has been absolutely incredible. People are saying Conte. Honestly, man, mate, as Gary Neville's already said, there's no chance of Conte becoming United manager. I don't think anyway. Let's go down here. A technical director would overlook the tune management and blah, blah, blah. I can't really understand. Sorry, some of the comments coming in now, I can't really read them out properly. No one is criticising Ole as a player. We know his club legend sentiment aside, he's out of his depth as a manager. No, Louis, people are. People are just forgetting and trying to say that he's built a career off one goal in the Champions League final. And they are just this. It's proper. It's pissing me off. It's really pissing me off. Hey, look, I'll give it another couple of minutes. Keep firing in your actual questions and your concerns about Manchester United at the moment before I wrap it up, or we'll just be here speaking all day long, which will probably suit quite a lot of you. But, I need to eat at some point. And saying, forget tactics. Where are our warriors? Where are the people willing to die for the shirt? 90% of football is hard work, 5% luck, and 5% star quality. We look weak all over. And what I would say about that is I think all Manchester United players are looking symptomatic of the problem at the club. They all are capable of working far harder than they are working. All of them, every single player. And I think it's just symptomatic of the issue that exists at Manchester United at the moment. And I don't know. And as I said, I don't know how that's going to change internally anymore. Because surely if it was going to change internally, it would have happened by now. In my opinion, anyway. Ole's got a 3-year contract. He's not going anywhere, says Shanus. As I said before, contracts don't mean anything in modern football. They just make it more expensive to get players or managers out of them. It's what Mourinho's built a career on. He's built a career on payouts. Easy. Looks like Sam got paid by the Glazers today. Oh, is that right next to the Newton Heath scarf or the Newton Heath shirt? No, I don't think that's a good comment there, Kuno. I think there's if there's one family that's not going to pay me a penny in the world, it is quite definitely the fucking Glazers. Fuck the Glazers. Get out of my club. And also, I'll give you my bank account details for that money you're sending me later. That might be the worst comment I've ever read. Abhishek, we have to move past the fear of a reset. There's no indication of improvement from the familiar mistakes that keep coming back in periods. How long can we afford to ignore it and stay behind the pack? No, I don't think we have to move past that fear of a reset. We have fucked it up, not once, not twice, 3 times we've screwed that up. And it's exactly why Manchester United have not won the Premier League since 2013. And we're going into a period where Newcastle have just got a new owner. They're about to get a new manager. They're the richest club in the world. They're going to be, the Premier League is hyper competitive now. It's the most competitive I think it has arguably ever been. Back in the day, it was like United or Arsenal who were going to win the league. United or Newcastle was going to win the league. United or Chelsea was going to win the league. Now, it's Liverpool or City or Chelsea. United should be in there, but they're not there. And Newcastle are going to come in and spoil the party in the next few years. So I don't know. Things have got to change, man. Things have to change. I don't know where that change comes from. Maybe that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh God, this is going to be a long few weeks, isn't it? At least got a new studio. Look, ladies and gents, if you would, I'd appreciate it. Drop a like on the video for my new studio. Took me a long goddamn time to get this. I'm going to be getting a lovely logo. It's going to be going up there at some point. Just hasn't come through yet. But look at the foliage. No, it's not. It's real. It is real. It's not real. It's not real. Spoiler alert. The PO box is open. As I said, I'll put this in the comments one more time before I wrap it up now. I need to write this address down somewhere. The reason I've opened the PO box, Gary, you're saying I look pissed off. Yeah, I am pissed off. I'm having to argue dumb arguments with dumb United fans, who just keep saying dumb shit. I understand your frustrations if you're pissed off with Solskjaer, but just don't come at me with mad things and mad statements like I'm getting paid by the Glazers. That's funny, that one. If you don't want me to argue back, because I will argue back now. I'm a person I'm pretty civil. I'm quite civil. I can see myself getting a bit uncivil in the next few weeks because I'm going to start calling people out for some real shit that they are saying. I rarely do that. I've always stepped away from that, but I can see myself doing it in the next few weeks. What a PO box is it's an opportunity for you to send something to me. So what I'm going to do is create space inside those shelves there. Create space on that board. If you want to send anything, maybe to be part of the set, any letters you want to send, anything, you can. It's my way of allowing you to be part of the community that little bit more. No one else is doing it, I don't think. But the PO box address, I've just popped it in the comments there. I think on Facebook and on YouTube. It'll be cool if you send anything in. I'm going to collect it from once a week. Hell, maybe we can do an opening every single week. That'll be fun. Or maybe I'll do a members only opening. That'll be fun. But I'm going to be back later today with another video. Ike, you're saying, keep an open mind, Sam. You're the one appearing dumb, defending the indefensible. Okie dokie. Thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate that comment. But I'm not. I'm not trying to defend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. He, right now, is failing as a manager. What I'm defending is his character. He's getting proper character assassination right now by so many United fans who are blinded by the shit results we've had in the last 7 games and ignoring the great work he's done the last 3 years and the incredible work that he has done over 10 years as a Manchester United player. Bank managers running so-called football operations are clueless. Ole is a dead manager walking until either out of the top 4 or more humiliating losses. Now, James, you're going back to a point that I've reiterated plenty of times about the Glazers and the Glazers' business model. And we all know that their strategy at Manchester United revolves around the top 4. This summer was a time where that changed. It's only happened twice under the Glazers, and this summer was one of those times where instead of getting into the top 4 and retreating on a manager, we got into the top 4 and we backed Ole, man. Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo. And this has happened. This has happened in the season after we were big spenders, which is only going to go and reaffirm their idea that why did you go out and spend a load of money? Why did you go out and spend all this money when you can just, revolve around the top 4? This was a season where we needed to change that mentality. At some point, I'm going to be honest, I'll be very surprised if Solskjaer is our manager come December at this stage, unless something really, really changes, and that's what has to happen now. I'm looking at Atalanta, Liverpool, Spurs, Atalanta, and City. We need 4 out of 5 wins to change the momentum here. Cole's saying, do you smoke weed? But no, I fucking need to after this. My word. Send it all in the... Maybe not send that in the PO box. Might get arrested. I never know. I could be like, I didn't do it, officer. It wasn't me to send it. But look, it'd be fun if you send stuff in. I'll be here later on. I'll be here. I'm not defending the indefensible. I'm not defending the shit I'm seeing on the pitch. No way in hell. But don't try and assassinate the character of Solskjaer at the same time. You need to separate those things. All right? Simple as that. That was a hell of a set of comments. That was a hell of a live stream. Eh? Thank you very much for all joining in. Look, if you are new to United People's TV, please subscribe, get involved. As I said, this is a genuine community channel. I build it around the comments, build it around all of your engagement, and I hope you enjoy it. So please drop a like on it. Hope you enjoy the studio. This is V2 now. We've had V1, we've had V2, and V3 is coming. And when V3 comes, it's going to be beautiful. Anyway, thank you very much for all your comments this morning. It was interesting. I'll be back here tomorrow. I'm here Monday to Friday, 9:30 every single day, and I'll be here this week, and I'll be here later today with another video. I'm going to aim for around about 2 o'clock because it's nearly 11 o'clock and I haven't started yet. So 2 o'clock, right? Until next time, though, take it easy.